Yes, indeed, back in Columbus, Ohio, and the time is now for Game 2. The 11 seed, the champions of the MAC, Fairfield, against the 6 seed Notre Dame Fighting Irish out of the ACC. Their first meeting since 1987. The winner of this matchup will get the 3 seed Ohio State Buckeyes after Ohio State took care of Howard just moments ago by a final of 75-54. So glad you could join us in a tournament that has seen nothing but chalk survive and advance. Could this be the game that upsets your bracket? Nell Fortner, Roy Philpott courtside. Fairfield certainly's got the weapons and the three-point shooting to do it.
Well, they sure do. They're coming in hot, too. They have not lost since January 29th, and they've got the three-point shooters that can spread the floor big time. And Notre Dame, they've won 9 of their last 11 games. That close loss in the semifinals to Duke in the ACC tournament, but they're coming in hot, too. They're ready to roll.
Plenty of star power to talk about this afternoon as we take a look at our slam dunk matchup brought to you by Wendy's, and we'll feature the ACC Player of the Year, Hannah Hidalgo, and Katie Lambro, the Player of the Year in the MAC.
How about both teams coming in with the Conference Player of the Year? That's amazing. They're going to go head-to-head against each other. It's going to be fun to watch this matchup. The other reason why, Roy, we know we've watched both of these teams in practice. They are gritty and competitive.
Hannah Hidalgo can beat you in so many different ways. Not only the Player of the Year in the ACC, but the Defensive Player of the Year in the conference for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, she has quick hands, sticky hands. She loves to play defense and go for the steals, and she's really, really good at it. 5 a game, leads the nation in that. That's amazing, and more times than not, she turns those steals into points.
Big-time player with big-time buckets and big moments against arch rival SC to win it, and the stare down to boot. You're going to see more of that for number 3 today for Notre Dame.
We're going to see a lot of stare downs. She's going to have to be careful because, you know, sometimes they call technicals on that, but she likes to give it back to the opponent. She is not afraid of that.
Year 6 for Neil Ivey, head coach of the Fighting Irish, and each of the last 4 years, Notre Dame has reached the Sweet 16, trying to make it 5 in a row in her 5th straight appearance in the dance. And Carly Thibault-Dudanis, an up-and-comer, only 34 years old, and one of the brightest minds in our game today at the mid-major level, starting to build a power at Fairfield. By the way, their 3rd straight appearance in the dance, the 3-peat in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Underway, back here at Schottenstein Center, and Notre Dame controls the opening tip. Hidalgo, back to Coles, inside to Prosper, and that's one way to do it.
Boy, what great ball movement by Notre Dame right off the bat. First possession, they get the ball rolling and get a layup out of it.
Coach, how important is it for Fairfield to get off to a good start, perhaps from 3-point range in a game like this?
Well, that's who they are, so it's very important that they at least get the looks. You know, the ball might not go down, but if they get the looks and they feel good about the shot, that's what they're looking for.
Lambro, right in her face was Ayanna Moore. And she comes up short as we take a look at our starting lineups brought to you by Capital One. DeJesus, Hidalgo, Prosper, Moore, and Coles for head coach Neil Ivey, led by Hidalgo at 25 points per game. A tumble and a turnover as Moore hit the deck. And the starting 5 for the Stags out of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. 3 consecutive tournament championships. And our starting 5 presented by Capital One, led by Lambro, leading scored over 17 points per game, but Megan Anderson also at 16 per contest. All 5 can shoot the 3.
Yeah, they spread the ball. They've got double-figure scores all over the floor, so you have to be aware of that.
Coe not necessarily known as a 3-point shooter, but she could get an opportunity against Notre Dame. On cue, she denied it that time. She'll take it inside. Cyan Coe, no. Now the most athletic player for the Stags in this game, according to Coach Carly.
It was a great look, and you know, she's going to get that wide open look out on the perimeter all day long. They're not going to go out there and guard her, but she's got to finish those layups.
First shot for Hidalgo is pure, inside, and the response by Coe this time.
And there you go. That's a really great finish right there, and I'm sure DL's upset about transition defense not getting back.
The 11 seed Fairfield. It's the 6 seed Notre Dame. Baseline, Prosper, Euro, connects.
There you go. ACC Most Improved Player of the Year. And here by Cass Prosper right there.
2 steals. Hidalgo, yes.
You cannot even take your eyes off of her. It's like the game is, you think it's going one way, but if Hidalgo's not around the ball, she's stealing the ball. It's crazy.
Averaging 5 steals per game to lead the country. 2 on 1 possession.
She just never gives up. She's just a relentless defender and a pursuer of the ball.
8-2, Lamro retreats against Prosper. Floats it up off the back iron.
That's a really tough, that's a forced shot right there by Lamro. She's going to have to find ways to get better looks at the basket or move the ball. Both of these teams really playing really good pressure man defense.
More the step back in and out. And the rebound corralled by Megan Anderson. A big possession early. We tripped off of Coe, daring her to shoot the 3.
Yeah, it's a different kind of an offense to run when you're playing 4 against 5, because nobody's going to guard Coe out there.
Anderson inside on the great look. Little high-low to make it 8-4. Minutes in, Prosper's got it. We'll see some man, a little bit of zone today for Fairfield. Hidalgo thought about the crossover, shoots the 3, high archer, with the bounce.
That is having it didn't have any roll on it, just had a lot of good bounce on it. But the high arching shot gave it a chance.
It was in the air for a moment, wasn't it? And Hidalgo nearly her 3rd steal. Her first 2 moments ago, essentially on the same possession.
Well, if you took your eyes off of it, thinking the play was over, then you missed the play. Because right here, you thought she scored off. No, she didn't. If you moved your eyes down the floor, she got another one. She is so quick. And then she's so, versatile. Let me just shoot a 3. Look how high that ball is. It drew rain. I know we've heard that said many times, but that one might have.
Coach, she dropped it in from the rafters. And it was so soft it had to go in. Lamro with 7 to shoot. And the deep 3 by Brown, and it's strange. Janelle Brown. Well, that's from one MAC Player of the Year to the former MAC Player of the Year. Coming off the knee injury, now healthy, and the lead down to 4.
You see the difference that what a 3-point shot does. It gives a team confidence, and it just shrinks that lead a little bit more.
Sanchez on the floor. Prosper nearly had it ripped away and comes up short. Here's Janelle Brown, little shake and bake inside. Lauren Beach, and free throws coming for Herter.
You know, we've seen both of these teams within their offense, both Notre Dame and Fairfield, running backdoor cuts. And when you're going against hard pressure, that's where you have it. Or a ball reversal and you get a 45 cut from the backside. Both of these teams are using that, and it's a really effective way to play basketball.
By the way, they're going to credit Hidalgo with a steal and an offensive rebound. Not 2 steals for those scoring at home, and we trust that you all are. That is how that sequence will go down in the box score. Every NCAA Women's Championship games on the networks of ESPN. First round action continues tonight. Second round games on Sunday and Monday. For more information, go to NCAA.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships.
Gisela Sanchez in the game for Notre Dame, an excellent 3-point shooter, like over 50%. So Fairfield has to be aware where she is.
Yeah, 51% on the season. Hidalgo short. Excuse me, rebound, pops out to Herter. 3-pointer can tie it up. Brown in the corner, hesitated. And that'll bounce back to Notre Dame. Interesting start in Columbus. The lead is 3 for the 6th seed Fighting Irish. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And the first round is presented by Intuit TurboTax. Now this is taxes. here in Columbus, and a fast start for the Fighting Irish in the ACC Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, Hannah Hidalgo, stepping into her junior campaign already with 7 points and a couple of rebounds. I'm going to give her credit for 2 steals, but the official score suggests it was a steal and an offensive rebound.
Well, I thought you were going to jump over the table and run over there to the official scores table.
Go back and watch the replay.
They took away a steal from her, but I don't know, maybe she would like the O board.
Maybe so. That's a good point by you. Nell Fortner, Roy Philpott. Game 2 in Columbus. Winner gets Ohio State on Monday. Notre Dame's got it. Hidalgo lightning fast, in a different gear in person when you see her. I mentioned that to her yesterday. I said, compared to a year ago, I feel like you're a step faster. She said, really? I said, yes. And she mentioned the first step in particular. De Jesus, no. Collision in traffic, and Lamro claims it. So she did agree that maybe that first explosive step is a skosh quicker than what it was when she started her career in South Bend. Herder, the jump stop, flips it up and in.
Boy, that was a beautiful play by Herder. Love that 2-foot jump stop. You have balance to be able to go up and get that shot off.
1-point game.
KK Bransford back in the game for the first time today. Such a difference maker when she returned to this Notre Dame team. I mean, that's when they started turning their season around. Back in that ACC game against Stanford, they won it her first game back. But here's Herder. That's beautiful basketball. That is fundamental basketball right there. 2-foot jump stop gives you options on how you want to get your shot off. Or do I need to pivot out and pass it to a shooter?
Jillian Herder, of course, the younger sister of Kevin Herder. Sharpshooter in the NBA. And 2 free throws for Moore. And Jillian, the MAC championship MVP. If your last name is Herder, you know you can shoot the rock. 26 of 27 at the free throw line this year. No mathematician, but that's well over 95%.
Yeah, those Herders, they were just born shooters.
That's right. Megan Anderson, Lamro trying to spring free. Boy, look at the look in the eyes. Lamro, determined, 3-pointer. Back iron, and a good box out. Claimed by Coles with a rebound. There goes Hidalgo. More from downtown.
That was beautiful. That was all set up by Hannah Hidalgo right there. You want that paint touch, paint to great. That's what you call that, paint to great.
And Moore, 39% three-point shooter, the transfer from Vanderbilt. Important possession for the Stags. Deep 3. Off the right side by Herder. Hidalgo, eyes up as always. Hard screen. And a bounce pass nearly picked off. Handoff to Bransford with a left-hand delivery.
You know, Bransford talking to Niele about just how when she returned, I think she brings confidence to the team, chemistry to the team, and it really just helped elevate them and just give everyone on the floor more confidence.
Lob to Coe, and it pops out to Hidalgo. Physical start for Notre Dame and an offensive foul. Coles with a screen. Coach, from paint to great, you said?
From paint to great, and the great being the 3, but she gets in here into the paint. Look what she drew. She drew 3 defenders to her, which left open a shooter behind the arc, and she knocks it down. Well, what's the most important thing? I got to knock the shot down, right? And Moore does it.
Absolutely. The transfer from Vanderbilt, a team high 73 threes coming into this game. Anderson, top of the key.
Okay, now that's Fairfield getting the shots they want and normally hit. I mean, they average 30 attempts per game, and they make 11 of them.
De Jesus, no. We talked to Coach Carly yesterday about the number of threes needed in a game like this, and I asked her 15. I said, Coach, that feels right. She thought about it. She came back to us about 30 minutes later, and she said, you know what? That does feel about right. We're probably going to need 15 today. Hidalgo too strong. They've got 1 so far.
Yeah.
The only 3 made by Janelle Brown, former MAC Player of the Year herself. before a knee injury sidelined her for a season. And three-point offense, Fairfield top 10 in the country, 11 threes per game. That leads the country. Notre Dame's three-point defense coach hasn't always been what it needs to be this year.
Yeah, but you know, they know what they have to do today. Niele was spot on it when we were talking to her yesterday. They've got to run them off the line. They've got to get out there, hands up. There's just no way you can give up easy threes to Fairfield.
Great look to Lauren Beach, who couldn't connect. Yeah, Niele Ivey said, chase him off the line. We heard that at shoot-around, and she said that was the common denominator all week long at practice leading into this matchup against Fairfield. Skip it over to Prosper. The dribble drive in the mid-range. Fairfield's doing its job defensively so far.
They are, and the other thing is Fairfield's getting the looks that they need to get on the offensive end. They're just not dropping right now. You can chalk that up to the beginning of the game and just trying to get settled in, going against this pressure, because this Notre Dame ball pressure and off-ball pressure is tough.
Megan Anderson from 15, 17 to 12.
You know, those are rare shots for Fairfield, a 15-footer.
DeJesus now. Time for Fairfield. Anderson's got to go, but a stoppage before the horn and a traveling violation. So Anderson took a step without putting the ball on the hardwood. And let's see if they adjust the time here at the end of the quarter.
You know, when she shot that ball, I'm going to be really honest with you, I thought it was going in. And, you know, you kind of you think about Fairfield, the way they shoot the three ball, it always looks like it has a chance.
0.3 left. And Notre Dame with possession, and really the only thing you could do is try to tip one in with that amount of time on the clock. Well, 5-point game, 10 minutes in. Hannah Hidalgo on full display here in her first game of this year's NCAA tournament for the Fighting Irish.
Well, she's in her element here. She's playing in the NCAA tournament, big-time game. She never gives up on a play. That's right, that's my ball. She goes and gets it and scores. Hannah Hidalgo from the three.
Back here in Columbus, and for Notre Dame, it was a roller coaster ride in the regular season, particularly with no KK Bransford from December 11th through February 1st, and that record in January highlighted by a tough road loss at #1 UConn. Bransford comes back against Stanford February 1, and it was a different story altogether to close down the season now.
Yeah, she's almost like just a glue player for this team. It also adds another player in their rotation. But remember, she was a starter when she went out. And when you lose a starter after several games, when a season started, it messes with your team chemistry. And so it takes a while to get back. So when she came back, boy, things started clicking for them. She's okay coming off the bench, adding to their depth. So she's just been a difference maker for this team, getting back on track.
Second foul on Coles. Bransford, excuse me, back on the floor, and 2 free throws for Megan Anderson. And we mentioned it during that break and even at the end of our first quarter. Fairfield has gotten good looks, has missed a couple of chippies, open threes, and defensively has held up reasonably well so far.
They have. I think their defense is tough. I think that Notre Dame, they've created a lot of pressure on Notre Dame to miss some easy looks.
Jesus outside to Moore. And cleared by Lauren Beach. Chance to make it a one-possession game. Janelle Brown. Scott over to Herder. And Fairfield 1 of 7 from behind the three-point arc.
It's an excellent extra pass right there to get that three-point shot. Nice hands right there. She turns around on Hannah Hidalgo and
Nellie
gets right
Brown
up to her.
And Hidalgo clears the rebound. 3-on-1 the other way. Hidalgo wide open. On the box out, and Scott had to remember to go retrieve it.
Hidalgo had plenty of time to set that shot up. He just didn't drop for her. But the pressure of both of these teams, their defense, is really speeding teams up a little bit within their as far as when their shot comes around.
Herter off the bounce, picked up by Bransford. Tough pass, Beach inside. Another layup off the mark. That's 2 already in the second quarter. We had multiple in the first 10 minutes. Now it's Moore. 20-13. Ayana Moore.
She lined that one up just right, but Hidalgo fed it to her perfectly. Drew the defense and made the right find.
Now when your team is getting the looks and they're not going in, what do you do as a coach? Herter gets it back.
Well, I'll tell you, you stay very positive about it because you're getting the looks you want. You're getting the looks the offense has created, so you can't be mad about that.
And Hidalgo imposing her will on Fairfield. Is going to shoot 2.
So when Hannah Hidalgo finds her way inside a defense, remember, paint to great. This is the perfect example of that again. And that great is the three-point shot, and she nails it. But give Hannah all the credit right there. She drew the defense. She saw it. She knew it. 2 foot. She comes down on 2 feet. She's able to pivot out and find the open shooter.
84% at the free throw line this season. Came into this game with 2,385 career points to lead all active players. And there really isn't anything she can't do. And lengthy conversation with her yesterday. We asked her, hey, what do you do to get away? And she was pressed on it a couple of different ways. And she said, I love long drives, sometimes with one of my teammates, other times with just me, myself. And she said, but that's what I do. And it's how I try to decompress. But otherwise, she's in the gym. She lives in a gymnasium. And Neil Ivey loves that about her starting point guard.
She loves basketball. That's who she is. That's what she does. And she is dialed in 24/7 with that. Hard to get her to go do anything else.
No. Sanchez bothered the shot. Hidalgo saves it. Another point-blank range shot missed by Fairfield.
You know, when you really dial into Hannah Hidalgo and you watch her bring the ball down the floor, her head is up, her eyes are down the floor, looking at the rim so she can use her peripheral vision to see what's going on. She is an excellent point guard.
Outstanding defense by Sanchez. Transferred from K-State, a year at Arizona as well. Stags without a point in the last 3 minutes. Hidalgo, no look, Sanchez. 24-13. And Carly Thibault-Dudanis has seen enough. Timeout will be called. Fairfield getting their looks, but a 7-0 run by Notre Dame, Coach.
Yeah, right now, the timeout is called because of the ball screen defense broke down right here. So they're going to switch, but look how quickly Sanchez dives out of it and gets the layup. Got to fix that.
With 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, and doing it in ways that only she can, Coach.
Well, she's just a special player. She can do it from the three-point line to anywhere on the floor. But this assist right here in the pick and roll, excellent. She read the defense perfectly and then delivers the ball. And who does she remind me of? We're talking to Niele. She is a relentless player. When Niele said the word relentless, that's what I said about Tamika Catchings. Coached her with the Indiana Fever and in USA Basketball, a relentless player. Never gave up on a play, but Hannah Hidalgo brings that, Roy, plus she brings the offensive part of it at a super high level.
Was listening to Tamika in Norman earlier today on a replay. Three-pointer out of the break is no good. And a foul called against Notre Dame. And meanwhile, we've talked about the close opportunities for the Stags so far as Sanchez picks up her first personal. We did our research during the break. 7 missed layups and just 3 of 12 in the paint so far for the Stags. That is the difference in this game.
Yeah, that feels like a little bit those missed layups when they're uncontested, a little bit of just the pressure of the game, but also how things speed you up, and you're playing against players that are really, they're big, so you're expecting maybe the size to come and affect you. But again, I go back to that phrase I used in the last game. We call it focus on the finish. You've got to do that. You can't worry about getting hit, fouled, nothing. Just focus on the finish.
Here's Lamro without a point thus far, the MAC Player of the Year. Nellie Brown. Anderson with 4 to shoot. And wills it up and in. Now that's one way to do it for Megan Anderson.
Well, you know, they've missed all those other ones. It was about something was bound to go in. It was time for one to go in.
It's a shot you're going to make in Horse to eliminate your opponent. And an offensive foul, the second on Sanchez.
That was a really heads-up play defensively from Fairfield, and I'm going to say I bet Carly Tebow, she's okay right now. My team is fighting. We're getting looks at the basket. We're going to continue to play good defense down here, clean that up a little bit. But this Fairfield team continues to put the pressure on Notre Dame.
Contact and Hidalgo with a shove. Lamro hit the deck, and Hannah's going to pick up the foul.
She was going for the steal, but she's trying to ask for the flop right there, but that wasn't a flop. Yeah, she got her pretty good on that one.
24 to 15. Nellie Brown with a path in the finish.
Boy, that's a strong downhill drive by Nellie Brown, but what a tough finish. Now, if they start finishing these layups at those good looks, Fairfield right back in this thing.
11-point lead down to 7. Approaching 5 to play in our first half. Hidalgo gets the bounce on that end.
Tough finish. She gets such a high arc on that shot, just like that 3 we saw earlier. It gives the ball a much better chance of getting in.
Here's Herder, swiped by Moore. Hidalgo on the run. Who wants it? She does. And free throws coming.
I'm going to disagree with you on what you just said. I think that was a deflection by Hidalgo and a steal. She came in there and doubled that and got her hand on it and stole that ball. But look at this drive right here. The focus on the finish right there. That is, and the arc on the ball gives that every chance of going in.
You asked her an interesting question yesterday, too, about her fitness level and how much it's improved since her freshman year. And outside of the quickness, you said, Hannah, it feels like that you could play another game after all of these games. And she said, I could. And I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, she is in tremendous shape. It seems like every year she looks a little bit different. But I think that's her dedication to the game and where she wants to go with the game. I think she plans on playing for a long time.
4-0 run by Fairfield matched the 4-0 run by Notre Dame. Stack just 1 of 8 from 3. They lead America with 11 makes from downtown this season per game. Brown behind the back. Against DeJesus. 5 on the shot clock. And outstanding defense by the Fighting Irish. The other way, Prosper, no. Hidalgo. And a traveling violation, essentially another steal for number 3 for Notre Dame. Irish have it when we come back with an 11-point lead, 4:26 to go in the half. Christine, we're just getting started as well back here in Columbus, and Notre Dame with the lead as you take a look at what's happening around the country right now. And Vermont was very competitive for a half against the 3-seed Louisville earlier today. Cardinals end up running away with it. You know what South Carolina is capable of. And then the 10 and the 7, Georgia, Coach Abe, Virginia, Coach Mox, in a close game right now in the third quarter, Coach.
Yeah, well, they said that was more like a 2-on-2 game, and I guarantee you Danny Carnegie from Georgia is one of those players involved in that, because she's a heck of a one-on-one player. Hard to shut down, and probably Kamora Johnson also for Virginia.
Prosper, a wide open path. In and out. Bransford on the offensive glass. She'll get it back. And 2 free throws coming for KK Bransford.
What great individual effort right there by KK Bransford. I mean, that is a will to go get that ball and make something happen. She gets herself to the free throw line.
Bransford shooting 2 at 62% this season. Don't forget coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For tournament game times and networks, go to ncaa.com. 1 of 2 for Bransford, the lead at 12, the largest of this first half for Notre Dame. 4 minutes remaining. Anderson wants the 3, couldn't clear. When will Lamro get going? Without a point thus far. The crossover. Back to the basket. Inside. Gets the roll.
Well, you called it, Roy, right there. She worked hard to get inside and finish that shot. But now Fairfield finishing some of these shots they're getting at the rim.
And an offensive foul is the call. Staggs will get it back. The drive by DeJesus.
This is good job by Fairfield stepping up right here. This is sacrificing for your team. I guess the foul was grabbing or pushing off.
She pushed off on Lamro
right there,
yeah,
to create that space.
And then the other way, offensive foul called against the Staggs and Nellie Brown. So the second personal on Brown. Beach has 2 as well for Fairfield. Coach, a very important 3.5 minutes here at the end of the first half where you feel like Notre Dame can pull away or Fairfield can create a little stress going into the break.
You're exactly right.
And the steal. Well, the pressure by Lamro on the deck was Herter. Notre Dame gets it back. Guess who? Hidalgo on the move. Bounce pass. And picked off by the Staggs. Kind of a helter-skelter. 4 possessions.
You better not blink your eyes or you're going to miss a play in this game. But both of these teams showing how important this first round game is playing with everything they have right now.
Sydney Scott off the mark, 35% three-point shooter. And Hidalgo. Well, Fairfield this season, 5 players with 40 or more threes, all 5 shooting more or better than 35%. In the first half today, just 1 of 10.
But I hear you, but let me tell you why defense is so important. It's because if you're not shooting the ball well enough, you've got to be able to stay in the game with your defense. And Fairfield is doing that. Just that play, that last play with Hidalgo. Hidalgo was trying to draw the foul. I'm proud of the refs for not calling that because she's the one leaning into the defense and trying to draw the foul. Great defense by Fairfield.
Hidalgo with 13-6, 3 and 4. Similar numbers that we saw with her in the regular season finale. The road win at number 10, Louisville, tracking in that direction. That was an enormous performance. Lamro step back triple, and it's good.
There it is. What a beautiful shot right there. And you see, Herter gave up an opportunity to take about a 10, 12 footer. That's not what Fairfield does. They're hunting for threes or layups, and it paid off that time.
Bransford off the knee and a turnover.
Boy, this Fairfield defense has really picked up its pace right now, and it's paying off.
4 straight empty possessions, ending in a turnover for Notre Dame. Go back to the basket. Working against Prosper. Working hard. Better defense. Coast saves it to Hidalgo. Lead at 7. Moore wants to make it 10. And she does.
Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. Great patience on it. The defense got out of position. Great read by Moore.
Well, the rhythm shot was there on the step back. Herder inside, and the layup good this time by Anderson.
Now you think back to if all those layups would have gone in earlier, because they had that exact look just like that, and they just couldn't drop. So right now, Fairfield finding their way a little bit.
Neil Ivey calls the timeout after the basket inside. The winner of this game will get Ohio State on Monday after the Buckeyes defeated Howard earlier today, 75-54, in a game in which Ohio State really took control and seized control after the first 10 minutes. It was a one-possession game. Nell Fortner, Roy Philpott courtside. So glad you could join us. And all right, an interesting start here. Notre Dame's been up to the challenge with its defense and ability for Hannah Hidalgo to make shots.
Absolutely. Look, Hidalgo is playing extremely hard. She's doing everything she can with her team. But let me tell you what's happening right now. Fairfield has turned up the juice on their defense. We're coming down to halftime, and they are trying to cut into this lead, and they have. It's down to 8 right now. But their defense has really picked up.
Hidalgo has it. It's trapping zone pressure. Prosper wide open. And a good look for number 3 inside to Kassan Prosper.
Yeah, found her. Prosper down there with nobody around her.
Oh, and another steal. Number 5 in the half for Hidalgo. Missed the layup. Who wants it? De Jesus tracks it down. Baseline she goes. And the finish.
And Notre Dame just turned it up right after that little timeout right there. They came back out with a lot more pressure and intentionality.
Anderson blocked by Prosper. Hidalgo with 5 steals. Approaching the single game record for steals in postseason play set by the great Skylar Diggins in 2010 with 7. We got a lot of basketball in front of us here in Columbus. A surge by the Irish. The end of the half, Hidalgo off the left side. Studio Rob. And Herder off the shot clock. 20 minutes in the books, 36-24 our score. The Stags, all 4 losses when trailing at intermission this season. Halftime here in Columbus. Let's get you back to the studio. Christine Williamson, Drea Carter, Shanae Ogumake. Ladies, take it away. Ohio, state capital 36-24. 6 seed Notre Dame leading the 11 seed Fairfield out of the MAC. Winner of this contest will get Ohio State Monday, the 3 seed, after a 21-point victory over the MEAC champion Howard Bison earlier today here in Columbus. So glad you could join us. Nell Fortner, Roy Philpott. Very entertaining 20 minutes in the books. Advantage Notre Dame, Hannah Hidalgo doing what we expected her to do in postseason play.
Yeah, she brought every bit of her All-American status, her ACC Player of the Year status, and she has given us a show. She is everything that we have been talking about and more. The steals, the scoring, the ability to assist. She is all of that.
Let's take a look at today's Need to Know, brought to you by Invesco QQQ.
And we're going to get to see a little bit of what I was just talking about. She play off the bounce. She can pull up and shoot it, but Hannah is the complete player. But what makes her so complete is her relentlessness. She's going to get to the basket, and if she doesn't score, she's going to try to turn around and get the ball back again. Like right here, do not think that you are free from Hannah just because you rebounded the ball. She's going to come at you hard. Look, this is a steal after a miss. She did that twice in that half. And I'm sure we'll see a little bit more in this one.
5 steals already and tracking potentially to the first ever quadruple double in women's NCAA tournament history. I'm no mathematician, but double what she's done, that's where she ends up as we step aside in Columbus.
NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. You are watching the first round, presented by Intuit TurboTax.
Here inside Schottenstein Center, start of our second half, 36-24, the 6th seed Notre Dame leading the 11th seed Fairfield. First round action continues on this Saturday. And Hannah Hidalgo, 13-7, 5-5. Story number one, story number two, Notre Dame defensively finding a way, even though Fairfield has secured a couple of open looks, missed a handful of point-blank layups, and then that three-point shooting. That number 2 probably has to get to 10 at least to give the Stags a shot.
You know, I agree. Even though they're down 12 right now, Fairfield, I feel like they're finding some rhythm. They're not, you know, as they continue to knock down shots, I feel like they've got some confidence, and they're going to continue to fight through this game. They just have to hit the shots that they get at a higher level.
Prosper on the drive, no, and Co clears. Anderson open for 3. Tracked down by Lambro, hit the deck and lost the handle. Moore came away with it, now Hidalgo. Moore top of the key. And a foul inside. Was that against Notre Dame? Coles thought it was, and it was. An offensive foul. Well, if that's Coles, it's number 3. I'm not sure what happened there, Coach.
I'm not either. I'm going to have to watch the replay on that, unless she was holding somebody or maybe she was hooking some. I guess they called the hook right there. Yeah, that's unfortunate because Coles needs to stay in the game for a little while for Notre Dame. Her size is difference making.
That's a big deal. Jillian Herder fell down and traveled. Well, DeJesus with the defense, standing her ground in the paint.
You know, DeJesus brings such experience coming over from Duke as a transfer to Notre Dame, and great team leader, smart, high IQ basketball player, but really smart right there not to foul.
A couple of degrees from Duke, biology, liberal studies, grad degree. High, low, and Prosper was held. Lambro is right there in traffic, picks up the call.
Boy, Prosper worked hard to get that ball right there. She sealed out Herder or Anderson so hard. She wants the ball. ACC most improved player. She's trying to show what she's got.
The second team all-conference. Her brother, of course, Omax, plays in the NBA. Prosper again position, triple team. It pops out to Moore. Moore inside, and a chance for 3.
Well, she's played well today. She's such a versatile player, being able to hurt you from the outside the arc and then power you inside right here. This is a strong, strong move. But to finish, again, it's all about the finish. You know, if you get the ball in the paint, you're going to get fouled. You can't just not still continue to try to finish the play.
Free throw is off the mark. Lead at 14. Herder got trapped. Herder turns it over. Hidalgo was sneaking around again and nearly came up with steal number 6.
And that's the extra pressure that she brings she just came out of nowhere just trying to get in there and get a deflection for a steal right here. I don't even know if that was her defensive assignment, but she's like, there's the ball. I got to go get it.
Didn't see her on the screen, and then suddenly you did, and you knew that trouble was on the horizon. 11 turnovers now for Fairfield. Moore to Coles. Missed the layup. Hidalgo tracks it down. Fresh 20. The crossover. The high step. High off the glass and the finish. Are you serious?
That is the 3rd shot we've seen by Hannah Hidalgo today where she just shoots it so high in the air, it just gives it an opportunity to drop in. That's some really good super touch on the ball.
3 times today we've seen that touch with the shot making. 1 time from 3, this time with the runner on the right side.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sitting here thinking that ball has no shot at going in, but it's so high, it gives an opportunity. Look at that, it almost went over the backboard. It was so high. She is something special. Now, I wonder how many times she's worked on that shot.
I don't know, but it almost hit the shot clock.
It did.
40-24. Ohio State awaits the winner. Notre Dame in position here in the third quarter. Wanting to finish strong against Fairfield. Coles, check it more. And Ayanna Moore, Vanderbilt transfer on the move, and a chance for three, the largest lead now for the Irish.
Everything right now going Notre Dame's way. This is a strong move. The defense is in front. They call the foul, but she finishes that shot. That was an amazing finish right there. Right now, Fairfield's got to find their legs, got to find their confidence to keep Notre Dame out of the paint.
Irish in the midst of a 6-0 run to start our second half. And Moore with the free throw has 15 to match Hidalgo. Jesus poked away. Stay with Fairfield.
The defense of Notre Dame just still so much pressure. And you know, it's like, no, yeah, that was a foul. She's reaching in a lot.
And Hidalgo right on top of Lamro. A little extra conversation after that. Hidalgo with 5 steals, 8 rebounds, 15 points, 5 assists, and counting. Nellie Brown, top of the key. Gets back her own miss. And Brown inside.
Great foul. I really like Nellie Brown. She is a competitive player, but super strong guard. She's got the ability to shoot threes, but take you off the bounce. She's so strong. I'd like to see her try to take some more opportunities off the bounce.
Hidalgo off the bounce. Brown defending. Tore her ACL going back to December 2024. Lost the handle. Hidalgo again.
Hidalgo has her vision allowing her to know exactly when to reach in for the steals. There's many opportunities to see past games of Hidalgo with these quick hands. We're going to see this one again. I mean, Brown's coming right downhill at her, but yet Hidalgo positions herself in a way. But look how she times that up. Hannah Hidalgo reading the play.
Moments ago, it was deja vu all over again. We'll take it back in time. 20 days ago, game on the line. Hannah Hidalgo, guess what? Finding a way to come up with the steal that essentially won the game at 10th ranked Louisville. It's what she does. Nell Fortner, Roy Philpott, we just saw it again. This is what she does, almost baiting the offense to find a way to be able to pick up the steal in traffic, Coach.
She just knows how to time the steal. Look at this. Nellie Brown has no idea or thought that Hidalgo is thinking about digging in right there and stealing the ball. She has a way of, it's her vision, it's her timing of her steal, how quick her hands are to reach in and get the steals. The one at Louisville was amazing. They were only up 1 in that game with about 18 seconds left. So Louisville had the upper hand coming down to score. Nuh-uh, not if Hidalgo's on the ball.
And the play there that you saw at the end, after the steal, the awareness to not attempt the layup to help run the clock down a little bit more, which I know you love as a coach.
That's exactly right. Her basketball IQ is extremely high to be that aware at that point in time.
Rejection inside. It'll stay with the Irish. And Hidalgo will trigger. Inside to Coles, and the layup is good.
Yeah, that's been a long day for Coles. That's her first score of the day.
Steal number 7, Hidalgo, off to the races. Missed the layup.
I took my eye off of it for a minute and missed that steal. That's how quick she makes things happen.
And standing out of bounds was Coles. So Hidalgo's steal number 7 now ties an NCAA tournament record for the Irish in postseason play. And Coach, the quadruple double watch. I got ahead of myself there. It is on. 17, 8, 6 assists and 7 steals for Hannah Hidalgo, number 3 on your screen.
It's very doable. That is very doable for Hannah Hidalgo.
Down 21. MAC champions, Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Skip past to Herter. Baseline contact, no whistle. And Anderson unable to finish.
Great hustle by Nellie Brown to keep that ball alive. And again, they're hunting the three-point shot or the layup. They gave up on a 15-footer during that series, hunting those shots.
47-26 our score. Not enough there. Different story so far in Columbus. A big afternoon for Kamora Johnson with 26 and 6. And a huge game underway for Hannah Hidalgo for the Irish. We saw it at the end of the regular season in that win against Louisville. Chance for a quadruple double today. 7 steals, tying a postseason record for Notre Dame. Lamro off the mark, and the rebound playing by Prosper.
Yeah, really tough shot right there by Lamro. That's a hard way to have to try to get your points against Notre Dame.
And over and back, that did go off the foot of DeJesus. And now they're going to talk about it. Was it tipped? Neil Ivey thinks that it was. And they're going to say it was, in fact, poked away, resulting in a not over and back violation, Coach.
Well, I know Fairfield was hoping it was going to go their way right there, but they don't seem to be disagreeing with it too wholeheartedly. Yeah. Looking at a replay, it shows 25 coming off her foot right there. You can see it right here.
It did go off the foot, actually, of Scott.
Well, it gives everybody a chance to catch their breath a little bit right here. Semi-timeout, but you don't have to listen to your coach. You can just
probably
gather.
a win.
Well, it is. Sometimes you just need to gather your own thoughts. Catch your breath and move on.
You know, you and I have talked in the past how sometimes the coaches don't like talking to the TV talent the day before a big game, and perhaps sometimes the players don't like hearing from the coaches in the middle of a game. They've already done that a multitude of times.
That probably happens a lot. They, oh no, a timeout. We're all about to get it.
Foul inside, it's going to stay with the Irish. Lamro picks up the foul.
Yeah, really important right now for Fairfield to dig in defensively and start making consecutive stops to give themselves an opportunity to get right back in this game. Because again, don't forget, they are a three-point shooting team. They make 11 a game. They average that, #1 in the country. They haven't found their rhythm yet, but it can come at any time, Roy, any time.
Great point by you, Coach.
You know, and defense really ignites that. And so if they can dig in right here, get some stops, it'll give them some confidence to get that three-point rolling.
High low, and the pass sails out of bounds over the outstretched arms of Malaya Coles.
And that's a good stop right there. They turn that around and bring it back down and run some good offense to get off some good looks from the three.
Now, Coles, an interesting story as she began her career at Wake Forest, 5 years there. Actually made her college debut in the big dance back in 2021. And let's see if there's something they want to look at here.
Did Notre Dame ask for the replay on who that ball was off? I thought that was clearly off of Coles, but
Bransford trying to execute the high-low. And Coe was right there. Did she get a fingertip on it? Did the path of the basketball change after the release? And then did Coles touch it on the way out?
Yeah, it doesn't look to me like Coles touched it. But if Coe touched it, coming off of, but I don't see the ball move.
And again, the call on the floor important here in a very close play.
Maybe the ball moved a little bit. That was, if that ball moved, that was a barely little bitty piece of a fingernail.
It's a fingernail on a fiber of the ball there.
Right.
Is that enough to overturn the call?
I don't know, because you would expect more of a spinning ball if Coe touched it. But it doesn't look like Coles touches it right here.
I agree there.
Yeah.
Maybe that pointer finger grazed it on the release.
Right, that's going to be hard to overturn. You know, it has to be irrefutable. So unless they have super high definition replay there, because there's a lot of fuzz on our replay. I don't, you know, maybe we don't have the same camera, you know, the same replay ability over here, but. The only thing I don't like about the replay is how long it takes. You know, this is a lot of standing around time.
A lengthy review here because it is close.
And if it does go back to Fairfield, then that would give them a defensive stop and an opportunity. Now they're talking about what they want to run offensively right here.
And Selaski going over one more replay, the scorer's table. In the meantime, a breather for everyone.
Well, yeah, I need a drink. I don't know. Didn't we talk about today was kind of like brunch and basketball because we had the early start, right?
That's right. You certainly want to get the call right. And Fairfield, I believe, is in position.
The ruling on the floor of the out-of-bounds play is upheld. There's no evidence that anybody else hit the basketball. It'll remain Fairfield basketball.
Just not enough to overturn the call.
It just wasn't enough. But hey, good try by Niele to try to keep momentum on her side to get the ball back.
4:17 remaining in our third quarter after an extended hiatus with the review. And a chance for the Stags to trim this deficit. Haven't scored the last 2.5 minutes. Herter will try to change that here with a three and does.
Love that play. I love that play they just ran. That was perfectly timed, well executed. And Herter knocks it down. Like I said, all Fairfield has to do is just find their confidence right here. They've got the plays to get the threes off. They just have to have the confidence to knock them down.
Skip pass, Sanchez. And fouled on the attempted pass. Trying to get into the painted area.
Yeah, unfortunate right there. And the discipline of not fouling at this juncture of the game for Fairfield is really important. I can't tell you how many times coaches just bear down on that. We just have to be disciplined with what we're doing defensively. We cannot foul.
Third on Nellie Brown. And now with 3:44 remaining in the third, Notre Dame in the bonus. Sanchez, a 70% free throw shooter. Year at Arizona, 3 at Kansas State. And from Barcelona, Spain, the 6'4" senior, one more.
You know, you don't come across many players who shoot 51% from the three. That's an amazing percentage. So when she's on the floor, and she went off the floor right now, it really stresses the defense because you cannot give her any ground at all.
Especially with her size.
That's right.
Lambro, stolen by Hidalgo. That is a new Notre Dame postseason single game record. 8 steals. Anderson the block out of bounds. It stays with the Irish. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 6 dimes, and 8 steals for Hannah Hidalgo, the ACC Player of the Year, the ACC's Defensive Player of the Year last year and this season.
Yeah, we need to put colors on those numbers, like red or something, like wah, wah, letting everybody know. How.
With the sound effects.
That's right.
In and out with the mid-range. Coles cleans it up.
Yep, and that's what Coles gives Notre Dame, that inside presence that it's really tough to contend with.
And Hidalgo over the back, attempting steal number 9, is called for her 3rd foul. Well, if you're going to have 8 steals in a game, chances are there's going to be some contact, and chances are the fouls are going to stockpile.
Yeah, but you know she's going to do everything she can to stay in the game. She's, again, that high IQ player.
And a hard foul on Anderson. Goes on Bransford.
I'm just going to tell you, Roy, we've got headphones on. It's loud in here. I heard that fall. Did you hear?
I did. It was a thud.
That was a hard fall right there. You got to get up and go hit these free throws right now. Basketball's not for sissies. You got to be tough out here.
Now Anderson, a 90% free throw shooter, gets 1 more. First team All-MAC. Now over 1,500 points in her career, including 10 today, 2 of 2. The quadruple double watch is on for Hannah Hidalgo. Prosper double team. No problem.
That's a tough finish right there by Prosper. Had 2 on her right there. Didn't hesitate, went up strong and finished.
Ohio State out of the Big Ten awaits the winner of this game. Brown, deep triple. And Hidalgo races away with the rebound. That's her night. Inside to Coles, double team. Hands it off to Prosper. And was bumped by Anderson on the way up.
Yeah, we saw a lot of those back cuts coming from the backside earlier in the game. Just a really high basketball play right here. Ball went inside, double team. Prosper recognizes it and makes that backdoor cut. I love that basketball. Really good execution.
Hassan Prosper, most improved player in the ACC. 1 more free throw. 2nd team All-Conference and Olympian Team Canada back in 2024. 1 of 2 at the line. Herder will check back in, and Sydney Scott goes out. Head coach Carly Thibault-Dudanis, one of the bright minds in our game today.
I'm so impressed with her. She is well organized. Just grew up with basketball. Grew up in her dad's back pocket. That's Mike Thibault. Phenomenal basketball coach. Winningest all-time coach in the WNBA.
Katie Lambro with 7. Gets the friendly bounce off the back iron. 54-33. And a foul. Free throw line extended. We mentioned Thibault-Dudanis, and you take a look at Fairfield's winning percentage the last 3 years. The three-peat, 3 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances, and those numbers match up very well with the elite powers in the sport, Coach.
They do. She's done a phenomenal job in 4 years at Fairfield, building a mid-major powerhouse. She is incredibly happy there, and they are supporting her with everything they can at Fairfield. And she's committed to making them one of the best programs in the country. There's her dad. That's Mike Tebow. Right now, look, 3-time WNBA Coach of the Year. Right now, he's coaching the national team in Belgium. And they are extremely strong right now. They are in a period of time where their best players are at the age where they are just in their prime. And he is a phenomenal offensive mind. And Carly Tebow is, I mean, sprouted right from that tree. She does a phenomenal job offensively with her team. And that came straight from her daddy. Grew up right in his back pocket.
Offensive rebound, Anderson, no, and cleared out by Prosper. 90 seconds to go in our third quarter. Hidalgo. Foul on the mid-range and helped up by Megan Anderson. 2 free throws coming for Hannah Hidalgo.
See, that's where you've got to be disciplined if you're Fairfield, because that wasn't a good shot by Hannah Hidalgo. So she got totally bailed out by fouling her. And I know it's hard. It's hard to help kids understand that, I don't know, understand the concept. Just don't do it. Just hands straight up. Whatever it takes, just don't foul.
18 now. 9, 6, and 8.
I'm going to get some colors on those numbers, though.
And mix it up.
That's bugging me. I want it to just like pop, you know, like we are on track for something special here.
It's never happened. The women's NCAA tournament, a quadruple double. Hidalgo would need 1 more rebound, 2 more steals, and 4 assists in the final 11 minutes and change to get there.
If there's a player in this country that can do it, it's Hannah Hidalgo. She plays with a veracity that, like, I want somebody to give me another player who plays like that. Hey, I like that shot right there.
3 by Anderson. And, Coach, the quadruple double has, in fact, never happened in any NCAA tournament game, men's or women's.
That's amazing.
Prosper with a chance for 3.
Well, you've got some other good things going on right here. Prosper with a strong finish right down the middle of the lane. Again, it puts a lot of stress on any kind of help defense. It came over, but a little too late to potentially draw the charge in that situation.
Well, Anderson picks up her 4th foul. Prosper to complete the 3-point opportunity. She's got 12, and now 2 of 3 at the strike. A breather for Hidalgo at the end of the third. Sydney Scott, that's a 3.
Now this is where the defense has to be disciplined. Dig in right here. Do not foul. Make Notre Dame have to take a tough shot.
2 threes in the first half, 3 and counting here in our third quarter. The top 3-point shooting team in America in Fairfield. The Jesus, the pump fake. Sanchez. Now it's Prosper's turn.
Good patience by Notre Dame, working the ball, changing sides of the floor, and getting a wide open good look. Sanchez made a really nice decision to make that extra pass.
Notre Dame flexing to start this second half. It's Fairfield. Jillian Herter.
Here we go. This is a really good sign for Fairfield, heating up from the 3.
62 to 43. 30 minutes in the books. Hannah Hidalgo with 10 to go, Coach. It is all Irish here in Columbus.
Well, they are going strong. Notre Dame heading downhill. Hannah Hidalgo with this another steal. Can anybody stop doing that?
Back here in Columbus, 10 minutes remaining, 62-43. Nell Fortner, Roy Philpott, Hannah Hidalgo on the verge of perhaps something we've never seen before in the NCAA tournament, and a chance for the elusive quadruple double. It's never happened in the history of the dance in the men's side or the women's. And we will see what happens here. Fairfield has gotten back into it with its 3-point shooting. So the outcome is yet to be decided. The winner of this game gets Ohio State Monday in the second round. A chance to go to the Sweet 16. First couple of minutes of our fourth quarter will tell us a lot. Anderson falling away. And Prosper with Brown. And a foul called on Nellie Brown.
Boy, really unfortunate by Nellie Brown. She was really trying to make a hustle play right there, but that's her fourth foul. And she really needs to be on the floor for Fairfield.
Coach, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
On the bench, like, would you guys know in your coaching career, going back to your time, Auburn, Georgia Tech, everywhere else, that a player would be this close to this kind of history?
Yes, we would know. We wouldn't sit there and talk to the player about it, but somebody's going to whisper it down there. She's going to probably know also. But Hannah Hidalgo probably knows herself because she's playing the game and she's that kind of IQ kind of player.
Meanwhile, another basket, 21 points, 9 boards, 6 dimes, and 8 steals. Fairfield back to work, the champions of the MAC, Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. And off the turnover, here comes the Irish.
So Coles got in on the steal department right there.
And swiped away. Now Campbell, who began her career at Notre Dame, checks in for the first time. Spent some time at Penn State and now has it against her old team. Allie Campbell on the floor. Certainly a meaningful moment for her. 90 seconds into the fourth quarter. Lamro spinning around, delivering the bounce pass and a kickball.
You know, it's really interesting how detailed scouting reports are, that these players listen and they know, because Campbell checks in and Notre Dame knows she's not a three-point shooter. Nobody guarded her out, you know, when she had the ball outside the arc. And again, when that happens, it really stresses the offense because you're playing 4-on-5.
Good look by Anderson down low. 16 on the board for Megan Anderson. She plays that roadrunner position, a phrase coined by Blake Dudanis, assistant coach and husband of Carly Thibault Dudanis. And DeJesus inside.
The downhill drive, but at least there wasn't a foul to top it off and give them 3 points out of it.
And that's been an issue in this game for Fairfield. Brown down low.
You know, I agree with this. You had to put Nellie Brown back in the game because right now this is the game.
She's got 4 fouls. Megan Anderson has 4 personals.
Yep, they have to play really smart.
Hidalgo weaving through traffic. Reverses at home.
Fairfield has to find a way to find an open shot from behind this arc. Boy, Notre Dame's really tightened up their defense.
Anderson, an open look with a mid-range. She has 18. Hidalgo with 23. DeJesus backs it out. Now Sanchez with a crease. And standing out of bounds with possession, a turnover.
Nice block by Anderson. No foul, got the good block. Hidalgo, look at her splitting these 2 players right here, and then the finish. She's having her a day today, Roy. It really is interesting to watch her. It's fun to watch her play.
A different gear, different speed, and a different mindset. Hannah Hidalgo, All-American Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, all of the awards you can imagine. And rightfully so, the anchor for head coach Neo Ivey.
You know, the interesting thing is the ACC names her Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and we're like, oh, gosh. No, you can see exactly why she's both. When you watch this in person, it becomes really, really obvious how the intensity she plays with, just the how exact she is about everything she does on the basketball floor.
Neo Ivey talked with us yesterday about the dynamic between her as a head coach and her star point guard, how that has developed over time now in her 3rd season in South Bend. They're very much connected in a multitude of ways. Hilo and Prosper was bumped before the shot. It's been a mainstay for the Notre Dame Bigs today. That action between KK Bransford and Kassan Prosper. Third foul on Beach.
Well, they've played together now for 3 years, and so the consistency, the level of trust and connectedness is important.
Three-pointer, no. Bransford, no. And a jump ball, the arrow keeps it with Notre Dame. A couple of buckets in the fourth quarter for Hidalgo. Rebound away from a double-double.
Yeah, time is ticking away, but plenty of time to still get, possibly reach that quadruple-double.
Great block by Herter from behind. It stays with the Irish.
Oh, yeah.
Off the spin, high in the air, and Prosper connects.
Prosper coming alive a little bit more in this second half, playing a lot more confident, it seems like.
17 and 7. The ACC's most improved player.
Really nice backdoor cut.
Great look by Lamro, Sydney Scott.
Yeah, those are the, she had the layup. She gave the layup away, went for the three. It was a beautiful shot. Looked like it had a chance to go in. But they're hunting those threes.
And Hidalgo off the mark. Trying to grab that rebound. Almost a steal, and then Herter. Here goes KK Bransford. Saw an opening, took advantage. Well, she has changed how this Notre Dame team has gone about its business, and now a timeout called by Fairfield. Carly Thibault-Dudanis will talk things over with her team.
It seems like this has been a day for Fairfield that when they get the looks, they just haven't found that consistency of knocking shots down, and it's kind of piling up.
72-49 our score. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Performance, and well, it took us a long time to decide who should get this award today. Hannah Hidalgo, really no surprise whatsoever, Coach.
And Roy, it started from the time the ball was jumped up and the first possession. She was going to town offensively, and then defensively the steals were racking up in the first half alone. But she came ready to play today, but that's Hannah Hidalgo. That's how she does it.
She came ready to play, but currently on the bench with 5 minutes and change, and a chance at the quadruple double with a couple of more big plays.
I'm about to call a timeout and put her back in myself.
Fairfield still with time, and Herter too strong. Prosper clears. Impressive performance today for the Irish with Hidalgo, and with what we've seen from Prosper with her 17 points, go along with 8 rebounds.
Yeah, you know, Roy, I know Niele, having to guard Fairfield and knowing how they play, she was not excited about drawing them. That was not an easy thing. So scouting them, knowing what she had to do. I mean, Fairfield now is 6 for 19 from the three, so she knew it was so important to keep them from being able to get shots off. And that's what this defense has done up until this fourth quarter. They've gotten some really good looks from the three and knocked them down, just like that one. But you can't give Fairfield 30 attempts. And right now that makes it 20 attempts, 7 makes.
Well, the difference between these teams today, A, Hidalgo, and B, those early chances right at the rim. There were 8 missed layups in the first 20 minutes of this game by Fairfield. Some open looks from behind the three-point arc that were there.
Yeah, and that just, it gets to your confidence. It really does. And that's where you have to really dig into your defense to build that confidence back up and keep the score manageable, close enough for you to come back when that shot does start to drop.
Under 4 to play. 20-point advantage. Herter. Jillian gets it back. Sidestep 3. Coe on the offensive glass. It's 18.
Good pursuit by Coe to go get the rebound. If Fairfield can find a way to speed this up a little bit, get the ball back, but Notre Dame, you know, is going to do everything they can maybe to slow the game down, use that clock.
Neil Ivey just looked down her bench and spoke to Hannah Hidalgo. It was an exchange of information, a smile. Hannah remains on the bench for the Irish. Sanchez contact, out of bounds. Fairfield basketball.
Well, there's a real fine line that Neil has to deal with right now, because you've got a game in 2 days against Ohio State. And that is where her mind is going. I've got to rest my player here, have her ready for that game.
And ready for Jelani Cambridge.
That's right.
Possession for the Stacks, running out of time here in our first round.
But Roy, the way she's playing, Hidalgo's playing, I think she's going to have another opportunity for a quadruple double. It might not be this NCAA tournament, maybe next year, who knows?
Well, there's certainly the potential for big numbers put up. More off the mark. Coles cleans it up. Well, she has been incredible on the offensive glass today.
Yeah, the only thing that really stopped her was her foul trouble, you know, when she was on the bench. But she is definitely a presence for Notre Dame inside that they need.
Herter another triple, and that's her third. Stacks now 8 of 23 from behind the arc. And you could feel Fairfield finding its rhythm a couple of different moments today. De Jesus, an and one opportunity. But Notre Dame has responded with each run by the Stags going back to that first quarter.
You're exactly right. Right here, De Jesus gets through. Gets that layup. But you're right, Roy. Every time Fairfield would try to make that little run. Remember when they had the 2 threes back-to-back? I think it was the second quarter. Boom. Here comes Notre Dame, hits them. And it's just they couldn't ever close that gap enough to really make the strong run.
Now, you know, Kevin McGuff and Ohio State have been watching this one. That's a 3. Splashes in from Scott. You know, if there were 10 more minutes in this game, perhaps there would be something cooking late.
Well, I don't know if most of these players could play 10 more minutes, but Hannah Hidalgo, you know she could.
And a foul call. Gives it back to Fairfield. Irish on the verge of closing this one out. Never trailed in this game. Led by as many as 23. Fairfield never gave up in this one. And Anderson.
Well, I know this, Roy, just from watching. Fairfield's practice yesterday. They were prepared for this game. They knew what they were up against. They had a game plan, a really good game plan. But Notre Dame's really good. And this is a learning opportunity for Fairfield and for Carly Thibault-Dudanis on what players they have to add to what they're doing. But does not negate anything that they've done at Fairfield or doing now.
And I love how you framed it earlier, a mid-major power. This is a team coming off a three-peat that is entering into the conversation with a transfer portal, protecting its roster and looking at other players to acquire going into next year via NIL. So you mentioned the support. We talked to the athletic director and school president yesterday, and they certainly are supporting this program in unique and different ways. And a foul called on Smith.
Well, they're going to be able to draw some players out of that portal, because if you're watching Fairfield play, if you ever watch Carly Thibault-Dudanis coach, you want to play for a coach like that.
Sydney Scott, the senior, an emotional moment here for her final time, along with Nellie Brown. We mentioned her coming back from the ACL tear, the former MAC Player of the Year. Always these moments this time of year get you.
This is the hardest part about the NCAA tournament, when seniors lose out, and it's just so emotional. But what an opportunity to get to play in the tournament and have a chance to move on.
Smith collects the rebound, walks it up the floor. Notre Dame, the 19-point lead, never trailed today against a team that was capable. And the defense was lights out. Hannah Hidalgo, you're going to hear from momentarily, was simply incredible with her scoring, her defense, and her playmaking ability. And Sanchez, one last time, wrapped up and hit the deck hard.
Yeah, that was a really hard fall. Again, you can hear it over here at the table. You know, that was a tough one. So Fairfield fighting to the end, which they absolutely, this is a team that's got a lot of heart. They're tough. That's what happens in this game of basketball.
And a timeout. 8.4 seconds to go. We will talk with Hannah Hidalgo as soon as this one ends. And now I'm very much looking forward to your interview, because not only does she perform and show out here today, they're going to draw Ohio State Monday in a rematch of a game that we saw in NCAA tournament play back in 2017 in the Sweet 16. A knee injury kept Brianna Turner out for the top-seeded Irish, but Notre Dame would cruise to the blowout victory. A 32-point scoring effort by Arike Ogunbowale, and really a precursor of things to come for her and what she was able to do for then head coach Muffet McGraw.
Boy, she was something special. That was a year that, well, it was the next year that they won the championship. But Ogunbowale, you talk about a one-on-one player right there.
I mean, the two-game winners in the Final Four. We'll remember those shots and those plays forever.
Absolutely. I mean, back to that semifinal, final, crazy in 2018 by her.
31st appearance this go around for Notre Dame. 9 trips to the Final Four, and of course the national championship 01 and in 2018. That 2018 team had more ACL tears than losses that year. You can imagine that.
No, but I remember that year. It just seemed like every week a player was going down. So, but hats off to Notre Dame.
Big win for the Irish, 79-60. Neo Ivy and Carly Thibault-Dudanis shaking hands, and a lot of respect between these two programs. And now for Notre Dame, a chance to get to the Sweet 16 with one more victory. 5 straight years into the second round. It would be 5 straight into the Sweet 16 with a win Monday against the Buckeyes. Now the story, Hannah Hidalgo with the 23 points, 9 rebounds. And the bracket looks like this. 75-54 earlier today in our first matchup in Columbus, and a 19-point win for the Irish over the Stags, the MAC champions here in game 2, and that means the 3 and the 6 Buckeyes and Irish, a matchup with all sorts of cachet on Monday with a chance to go to the Sweet 16. Now, great crowds and atmosphere for both of our games today. And Hannah Hidalgo, well, it started early.